rashes in northern Wisconsin, and a prescribed burn is scheduled today in Kalkaska County.
Well, later, Brady will have your weather for the weekend, and Mitch will have your sports update. Hello, I'm Dana Sadler.
And I'm Mitchell Reif, and this is Public Eye News. Michigan's Department of Natural Resources scheduled a prescribed burn in Kalkaska County to start earlier today around 12:30. The burn is expected to cover 192 acres. The burns will be conducted by trained officials of the department. The safety of the public is a top priority during these burns, and weather conditions are periodically monitored to ensure maximum safety. Earlier today in Northfield Township, a man by the age of 63 was arrested and charged with false representation as a peace officer. Law enforcement found a fake badge, 2 handguns, along with a shotgun in the vehicle. On the 21st, earlier this month, a conservation officer was patrolling when he spotted the vehicle. The man held up what turned out to be a fake badge. George Gabrith was arraigned Friday in Ann Arbor District Court on weapons charges. More on today's news. In Muskegon, Michigan, the county's prosecutor DJ Hilson requested to take a van involved in a killing of 2 women to be taken out of storage and destroyed. Jeffrey Willis, currently serving a life sentence for murder of 2 women, with one of the bodies still missing. One last seen jogging on the side of the road, and the other a gas station clerk who disappeared in 2013. DJ Hilton states that the van, quote, "the van shouldn't be back in circulation," end quote.
In Lansing, Michigan, state lawmakers are poised to consider bipartisan bill aimed at helping potentially thousands of sex abuse victims sue for damages, including those molested by University of Michigan sports physician Larry Nassar. In 2018, the law was changed so Nassar victims could sue and people who were sexually abused as children could pursue legal action until their 28th birthday, or 3 years from when they realized they have been abused. Which is illegal, would expand the option to adults and let them file suit until whenever it is later. 10 years from when they claim accuracy their 28th birthday, or 6 years instead of 3 years from when they realize they have been abused. In Kalamazoo, Michigan, Heather Mclogan, a former nurse, is being placed on probation for her role in the death of 16-year-old Cornelius Fredericks back in May of 2020. The Lakeside Academy Youth Home had aggressively restrained Fredericks to the point of unconsciousness for throwing a sandwich. He died 2 days after that incident. Lakeside Academy inevitably shut down permanently shortly after his death. Although Heather was not involved in the actual restraint of Frederick, she has admitted she could have but didn't do anything to stop the events from happening. Taking a plea deal, she has been placed on 18 months of probation with the charges of involuntary manslaughter and second-degree child abuse. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating a plane crash that happened just before noon Tuesday in northern Wisconsin. 3 people were on board the twin-engine Rockwell 609B when it crashed in a swamp 12 miles east of Eagle River. The National Transportation Safety Board will be in charge of the investigation and will provide additional updates. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back with your national and international news.
Cannabis.
People believe it can cure any disease that exists, or it's going to cause the downfall of society.
In a country where people are talking about its medical use, someone gets arrested for cannabis every 58 seconds.
For what conditions is it beneficial, and for what conditions is it harmful?
What does the science tell us? Truth through science. We should know the answers.
The Cannabis Question on Nova.
Tonight at 9 and tomorrow at 3 p.m.
In national news, earlier today in Shenyang, China, people were seen eating by the lights of their phones and generators after the county enforced power cuts to meet the official conservation targets and to also ease the shortages in some areas. The local news reports say that high coal prices may have led to these power companies being hesitant on these demands. Even the factories in China's busiest manufacturing places have been ordered to suspend their production for a week or later. Now the urban neighborhoods are being blacked out, causing people to turn to social media and asking the government for help. In New York today, the distribution of vaccination requirements across the U.S. has not yet reached their desired goal. Some experts say that the booster shots might just make matters worse. The feat that's standing is that it may lead to people doubting the vaccine in the first place. The percentage of the Americans who have been receiving their first dose of the vaccine has significantly dropped in the recent weeks, from about 480,000 in August to now under 230,000 in the last week, resulting in vaccinations being down 50%. The U.S.
Regulatories on Tuesday's ban swimming with Hawaii's spinner dolphins to protect the nocturnal animals from people seeking close encounters with the playful species. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration rule under the Marine Mammal Protection Act prohibits swimming with or getting within 50 yards of a spinner dolphin that is within 2 nautical miles of the shore of the main Hawaii Islands. The rule applies to boats, canoes, stand-up paddleboards, drones, or other objects. In Tokyo, Japan, former Japanese Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida won the governing party's leadership election on Wednesday and is set to become the next prime minister, facing the tasks of reviving a pandemic-hit economy and ensuring a strong alliance with Washington to counter growing regional security risks. Kishida replaces outgoing party leader Prime Minister Yoshida Suga, who is stepping down after serving only 1 year. Kishida is under pressure to change the party's high-handed reputation, worsened by Suga, who angered the public over his handling of the pandemic, an instance on holding the Summer Olympics in Tokyo despite surging infections. The party needs to quickly turn around the plunging public support.
The Brucklers moved into a larger home in Forest Lake last year and expected a higher natural gas bill to heat the home.
We've never had the high ceilings and that much space.
But they didn't expect less than a year later prices would go up so dramatically.
Anticipating the large jump, it's going to be a big bill.
Centerpoint Energy reports natural gas last September was 60 cents per therm. This month, it's 109. And says it's caused by a few factors, but primarily supply and demand. Supply was up during the pandemic while demand was down. And now that natural gas is again in demand, supply is still catching up.
I certainly understand supply and demand, but when it hits you in your own pocket, it becomes more real.
John Brugler says they'll make changes where they can.
When we're at work, we do leave the house a little cooler than when we're at home.
And in older homes especially, the advice is to also have your furnace inspected, change the filter regularly to increase efficiency, and prevent air leaks around windows and doors. The adjustments can add up.
Anytime you spend more money, it's certainly going to affect your budget, but I think we'll be okay, but you know, a couple less dinners out a month, I guess.
Centerpoint and Xcel Energy customers can reach out to what's called the Home Energy Squad. We're told they provide low-cost or free home energy audits. And the time to do it is before it gets cold. In Forest Lake, Jennifer Merrily, WCCO 4 News.
It seems like it's happening earlier and earlier every year. There are less than 90 days until Christmas, and some South Mississippi shoppers and businesses are encouraging shoppers to start marking things off their holiday list now. Brandy McGill asked and talked with businesses in downtown Ocean Springs and has more.
Gift wrapping, seasonal store stocking, and candle lights in dreary weather are all signs that the holidays are near.
I get the goosebumps just thinking about it.
Christmas is a busy time of year, especially for Mary Lee Fur at Miner's Toy Store. Although Christmas is about 12 weeks away, Fur says with COVID and staffing shortages, she knew to prepare sooner this year.
Well, we have had so many people in shopping earlier than usual this year because they've heard the news that some of the freight is delayed and may not arrive on time. And in our industry, we are encouraged to go ahead and order and have all of our shipments delivered just in case. So the back room is full.
Susanna Snyder says everything inside Hilliard House is homemade. While big box stores may see delays, Snyder says working with local artists and small businesses across the country have been an advantage.
Been really fortunate, I think, compared to a lot of other industries. We do certainly see you know, let's say a potter runs out of a glazing material and that's set back on the supply chain, and it might take longer than usual, but we receive orders every day, and all of our artists try to send us orders within like 4 to 6 weeks.
Whether you're buying gifts early
Thank you very much.
or just window shopping, many small businesses are working to meet holiday shoppers' demand before the rush. In Ocean Springs, Brandy McGill, WLOX News Now.
And after this break, Brady is going to have your weather report, and Mitch, which is me, am going to have your sports update. Stay tuned.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains. Lively performances where old tradition meets new, here on Song of the Mountains.
Friday night at 10 on WNMU TV.
And welcome back. I'm your weatherman, Brady Hinshaw, and behind me it ain't nothing but blue skies. Now looking at our current conditions, we have sunny skies with a high of 71 degrees, winds out of the east, southeast at 8 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 30.08 and falling. Looking towards tonight, it's more of the same with clear skies, a low of 50, and winds out of the southeast at 5 miles an hour. Looking towards tomorrow, we have partly cloudy skies with a high of 75. Winds out of the south at 7 miles an hour. Now, if we look at our beautiful UP, it's sun across the board with a few clouds, with 62 in Sault Ste. Marie, 65 in Manistee, 64 in Escanaba, and down in Menominee it is 64 as well. Now, looking at our western half, it is 67 in Iron Mountain, 70 in Ironwood, 70 in Ironwood, 66 in Houghton, and back in beautiful Marquette, it is 71. Looking at our week ahead, it's Friday, a high of 78, low of 59 with some rain. Saturday, a high of 66 and a low of 54 with some rain. Sunday, a high of 60 and a low of 51 with some clouds. Now into Mitch Reif with them sports.
Thanks, Brady. The Champions League group stage continued yesterday. The darlings of last season's Champion League in Portuguese side Porto faced off against English super side Liverpool. Liverpool dominated the game and won 5-1 on the road. Liverpool takes the lead in their group as Porto falls to third in Group B. Staying in Group B, Barcelona cast off Antoine Griezmann and Luis Suarez scored for the Atletico in 2-1 over Italian team AC Milan. Lionel Messi scored his first goal for a team that isn't Barcelona. Messi helped his new team in Paris Saint-Germain in a 2-0 win over Manchester City in Oil Derby. And staying in the brutal Group A, German team Red Bull Leipzig lost to Belgian team Club Brugge 2-1. The NBA is looking to expand its fan base with esports in Latin America. The NBA 2K League is partnering with DUX Gaming to add a team based in Mexico for the 2022 NBA 2K season. DUK is a Madrid-based company. The newly announced team is a second 2K team based outside of the United States and Canada, following the footsteps of Gen G of Shanghai. And I'm sorry, but that is all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. As always, I'm Mitchell Reif.
And I'm Dana Sadler.
And this was Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.